And welcome to Cuesta Gym. It is time again for Cuesta College basketball. It's the 48th annual Rabbobank Tournament. And tonight, the beginning of Rusty Blair's 25th season as head coach at Cuesta. As you can see, I'm Randy Scoville along with Mike Wozniak. We've had a lot of talented teams at Cuesta over the years. You had a chance to see Rusty Blair's latest team in scrimmage earlier this week. How would you characterize this year's squad?
Really always a work in progress, Randy, but the start of the season is really an opportunity, especially for so many international players, to kind of find a rhythm in and of itself. Tremendous shooters at the guard position, as which we'll mention. Really lacking in the size and the bigs in the interior this year. So standardized, tough defense from Rusty, a couple mixes and matches as far as zones, occasional pressure on the full court, but for right now, it's going to be a really guard-driven season early on.
Yeah, he's got the 8 international players, and they have 4 returners altogether. And like you're saying, the lack of size, they were really fortunate last year with Montavani to kind of have that big physical presence that maybe they didn't already have. So this year, more coming into flow, a little, like you say, more defense and more tempo with this year's team?
Yeah, the versatility from the wings, although they don't necessarily look like traditional big men, they're going to have to be enforced and relegated into those positions. So really, for Rusty, defensive rebounding is going to be a priority. It's going to be all 10 hands to the glass and a priority from his guards to really work the interior and try to figure out how to eliminate second chance opportunities for the other squad.
Well, you look at Karem Uzul, along with Andres Aguado coming back from last year. I would think early on in the season they're going to be pretty key.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Confidence off the dribble, confidence taking shots. When you know you have a little bit longer leash as an offensive weapon, you tend to play a little bit more free and loose. And these two upperclassmen, if you will have that leash early on this year.
And from the scrimmage, some newcomers maybe you think were particularly talented, especially maybe can provide some spark offensively.
Yeah, Noah Saunders is a guy that can really, second jump ability, really find the rim. He's got that floppy hair, kind of gets in front of the defender at times, but can really get around that rim and make very athletic plays. And, of course, Liam as well, Joey, a guy that can stretch the floor, but he's going to be really relied upon on the interior to play some solid defense.
And they're playing a West Valley team that had a lot of issues last year. They do have 5 players back, but won just 5 games last year. Right. You talked with Coach Scott Idle-George. Obviously, there were some, shall we say, mitigating circumstances.
Yeah, 5 of 7 is good in basketball from the three-point line, maybe 5 of 7 wins, but not losing 5 of 7 of your best players before Christmas, and that was really the indication of that squad. One due to injury. He will be back this year as far as a starter. We'll see a couple of those guys within the fold, but really a fractured season, thus a 5-21 record.
And some optimism perhaps coming into this season since he does have a bit of a core coming back.
He does, but at the same time, I said, what are your priorities as far as this first game? He said, throw it to our team. If we can minimize the turnovers and just play somewhat together, he says he'll learn a lot from some of these freshmen who have never really played under the lights.
All right, well, the Cougars going to tip it off tonight against West Valley, 48th annual Rabbobank Tournament. We'll be back with starting lineups and the opening tip after this on Cuesta TV.
Cuesta.edu. Television, radio, broadcast, communication. Explore the world of digital communication and tap into your creative genius. Television, radio, broadcast, communication.
This is your boy, the DUI, and you're listening to KGUR.org.
Your digital future is at Cuesta College right now. Log on to Cuesta.edu now for enrollment dates and class information.
Don't put the boom in the shot.
Blown it, bro.
Cuesta.edu.
Welcome back to Cuesta Gym. Randy Scoville along with Mike Wozniak. It is the 48th annual Rabbobank Tournament. We're ready for starting lineups. The West Valley Vikings coming off a record 5-21 last year. Cougars last year 22-10, losing in the first round to Fullerton. Again, brand new team, a lot of talent, and again, probably a good up-tempo kind of offense and, like you say, and some solid defense they're really counting on this year.
Well, I think the fear factor of a lot of junior college coaches is how unselfish will a team be early on in the year, and that never really is the case with Cuesta basketball. The ball moves, the guards share, and for the most part, there's always 2 or 3 shooters. I expect to see it early and often tonight.
And you're seeing the Cougars being introduced for West Valley tonight. Starters will be number 2, Swade Edwards, number 3, Josh Verner, number 5, Mohamed Abdul Rasul, who was the leading scorer last year, Armando Huerta, number 15, in the lineup along with number 33, Nolan De La Serna for the Cougars, who, as we mentioned, were just introduced. Kerem Uzul from Marmaris, Turkey, 6'1", 185-pound sophomore who started all but 2 games last year and is also the starting point guard on the Turkish national team. Andres Aguado from Malaga, Spain, 6'1", 185 sophomore. Again, wearing number 10 and playing as the 2 guard. Joey Liam, a newcomer, a sophomore from the Netherlands, who is considered to be possibly the best player on this team. On the Dutch under-20 team, Ryan Gilroy in his 3rd year with the program, sophomore captain out of Hydesville. And Noah Saunders, who was mentioned out of Pittsburgh, PA, 6'6", 185. He wears number 3, and he's ready for the tap with De La Serna of the Vikings. And it will be controlled by Cuesta. Gilroy over to Uzul, who will bring it up. Up top to Aguado, gets an early look. It will not go. Underneath the hoop, though, it's Liam, and loses it to the Vikings.
A simple cross screen, down screen for your best shooter. Pretty good look to start the season. He rarely leaves them short. Cuesta going to go a little man-to-man to start this action.
Edwards and out high to De La Serna. First 30 seconds of the game. Glad he could join us on Cuesta TV. Huerta going down low. De La Serna turnaround won't go. Fighting for the rebound inside, ultimately controlled by Noah Saunders. Joey Liam in the front court. Finds a step, navigating through traffic, and gets the first points of the game.
Just showing a little full court pressure, but really a drive game going to your strong hand for Liam, a guy confident early on in this game.
Abdul Rasul will leave it back for Verner. And Swade Edwards, number 2. De La Serna with a lot of early touches. And Huerta, so they're moving the ball around. Abdul Rasul. 4 to shoot. West Valley looking for a shot. Abdul Rasul just got to pop one and did not do it in time. Got caught in the short corner. Turnover to Cuesta.
Well, Cuesta's defense on that second possession now has learned to figure out the back screen initially set by the West Valley bigs, a double away, and very good defense all the way through the end of that shot clock with great ball pressure.
Uzul, second on the team last year, 13.4 points again. Trying to send it to Saunders. It's deflected. Vikings taking the initiative. Edwards just launching it high. Off the heel of the rim, knocked out long, and the race won by Aguado. He will try and finish. Goes around Huerta, doesn't finish, but Uzul's there. Lost by the Cougars, missed opportunity.
Really tried to caboose his defender there, but going up awkwardly on the other side of the floor. He's a shooter, not a layup guy.
Abdul Rasul launches an arcing 3, first points of the game for the Vikings and their first lead.
Yeah, for Coach Idle George, he was really anticipating Mo, as he calls him. The injury last year, getting back in the flow, was going to be relying on him and his leadership.
Saunders from Gilroy a little bit short, and Abdul Rasul with the board. Abdul Rasul, as we mentioned, leading scorer last year, 14 a game. Abdul Rasul turnaround with 10 on the clock, won't go. Gilroy gets his first board.
We've seen each possession now for West Valley with the opportunity for back screens. Oftentimes early defenders not figuring out how to help and over-helping. They've been provided some good looks, but for Cuesta, getting to the free throw line yet to be accomplished.
First foul of the game, and it will be on Abdul Rasul. As Saunders with a quick move there. Cougars back with 30 to shoot. We have 17-16 to go in the first half, and it's 3-2 Vikings. And in some clarification, it's De La Serna, number 33, after the officials talk about it, for our first foul of the game. Uzul, Turkish point guard, looking over, finds Aguado open, And the Spaniards three is good. First tray for the Cougars, back in the lead 5-3.
Well, it's no one personnel, and not that West Valley has scouted Cuesta. They'll realize quickly, standing with a hand low against that shooter will repeat with 3 points.
Edwards and Abdul Rasul. Vikings been pretty patient on offense. Burner back to Edwards now on the wing. Had a step on Aguado, leaning in, won't go. And in position, Liam had the rebound, almost lost it, but controls for Cuesta. Aguado brings it up, 16:34 to go in the first. 5-3 Cougars. Saunders looking for somebody, flips in the general direction of the board and hits the board. Turns it over. Abdul Rasul moving quickly into the front court, doesn't see anything, will send it back out high. Saunders out high defensively, keeping an eye on things. Ferner over to Abdul Rasul, 9 on the shot clock. Bench calling it out and drew the whistle. It's going to be the first foul of the game on the Cougars. And it will be on Noah Saunders.
Back to that previous offensive possession, Cuesta trying to exploit the high post with 1-4 action, throwing it inside or at least to the elbow areas, looking opposite direction with back screens. Oftentimes a difficult passing angle, especially when you have similarly sized players. And if you look at across the board here, no one really stands out. So your passing lanes, a lot of times obligated with defensive hands in the way. Thus that pass off the backboard has relegated Noah to the bench early on.
And he'll be replaced by Eric Horn, making his debut for the Cougars. 6'6", 185-pound freshman forward out of Lascadas and Lee High School. As Abdul Rasul makes them both and ties the game at 5 with 15:56 to go in the first. Horn with an early touch, flips it over to Aguado. Open three, trying for a second of the game. It won't go, but an offensive board by Gilroy as it's slapped away by Huerta. And second foul on the Vikings, first on Huerta.
Yeah, pretty good look for their shooter there, throwing it into that high post and kind of that flare back screen to the opposite side. West Valley starting to figure out the ball pressure against the passers. They've got to get closer to the Cuesta shooters.
New 30 with 15:40 to go. Game tied at 5. Season opener for both. Different configuration in the Rabbobank Tournament this year. It's just going to be 3 northern teams and 3 southern teams playing round robin as opposed to an elimination tournament of 8 teams. Horn over to Liam, trying to spin around Edwards and loses it out of bounds to the Vikings.
Yeah, catch and dribble is never a great recipe for at least against a defender that has supreme positioning. And that time Swade was well underneath a guy in Liam who was a couple inches taller, a longer dribble, and falling to the baseline.
And Swade Edwards feeds to Huerta inside. Werner on the outside to a cutting Huerta the block. They send it back outside with 15 to shoot. And speaking of shooting, Abdul Rasul will do that. A little off balance, pulled down weak side by Liam.
Yeah, second fadeaway there. Neither has gone. You can sense the confidence here, as Coach Idle George mentioned. This is a guy that they're going to rely on for a bevy of offensive shots.
Horn and an open look. He takes it from 3. Will not go, but an offensive board from Aguado. Uzel taking his time with the new 30. And Uzel can score, but has been primarily focusing on moving the ball around right now. 10 to shoot. Uzel's got it. Looking for a drive possibility. Got men airborne, turned around, spun in the first points for Karem Uzel.
Yeah, it looked like a walk, but the ball was dislodged. Thus, he could regather. And excellent timing and patience from a guard that is used to playing with contact. Nice play.
7-5 Cougars, 14-12 to go in the first. Huerta back out high. We're about to see our first sub for West Valley. The Vikings, school located in Saratoga. Huerta sees an opening. Gilroy comes in to cut him off. And there is contact, and Gilroy draws the charge. So recognized quickly enough to get there and establish position. That charge is the second foul on Huerta. Coming in, Ben Fuji Rios, number 10. And replacing Huerta, who just picked up the second. Third team foul on the Vikings with 13:55 to go in the half.
Speaking with Rusty last Sunday, he was quite adamant with the extension of that charge circle, that they put it in white so that the officials could see it better. That time, not quite sure the heels were completely off that line, but a hometown whistle they will take.
And that's Ryan Gilroy, the redshirted and now a sophomore, his third year with the program, known as the glue guy of the team, also the team captain. Aguado on the wing. Uza coming up. Gets away from a quick double team, tosses it up, won't get it. Werner gets the board.
Kind of a good opportunity for his guard to drive in that high posted area. Not many shot blockers on this Viking squad. Good look for the point guard.
De La Serna ultimately losing it. Aguado tried behind the back, he lost it. And Fuji Rios comes up with it for the Vikings, who are going to have another sub coming in a second. That's going to be Brandon Sanders.
Princeton.
Liam out high defensively. Following Werner, they go inside to De La Serna, who was unable to save it. Cougar ball with 13:04 to go in the half. It's going to be 21 Brandon Sanders coming in, and De La Serna will get a break.
Yeah, the design of that play was nicely set up, but the seal on the interior, anytime you're feeding that ball from the post or the perimeter, you got to break the angle and put a little touch on that pass. For Swade Edwards, just too much velocity, impossible to catch.
A low-scoring game right now. It's 7-5. Aguado, who has 3 of those points, to Horn. And they'll work it back around to Uzel. Trying to work with a pick from Gilroy. Lost control of it, and Abdul Rasul comes down with it for the Vikings. 12:37 to go in the half. Fade away Fuji Rios, and Liam's there for the board. Uzel, Horn, he'll take another 3. Sets his feet, doesn't quite go. Fuji Rios gets the board.
Heavy legs for a lot of these guys. Shots missed short on both of the squads, but for the Cougars, the majority of their threes have been great looks. Only 2 of them contested heavily.
Horn just trying to get a shot back. He's been out since February with injuries and now back in action. Abdul Rasul with 10 to shoot. And Vikings continue to be very patient. He'll take the shot. It's in and out, but pulled down by Sanders.
Well, guard-on-guard ball screen is easy to switch there for Uzel and, of course, Aguado. They just switched off and forced a tough shot that nearly went in.
Aguado up on Abdul Rasul. Werner. Back out. Sanders. Moving inside, can't quite get it. Aguado ends up with it for the Cougars. Uzel picked up by Fuji Rios. Aguado Gilroy looking up top, 15 to shoot. Liam lost it, got it back though, sends it back to Gilroy. Horn can't go to Uzel, he's fronted. And there's a whistle and foul on the Cougars. That's going to be on Ryan Gilroy. That will be his first. Uzel's going to come out for Donovan Townsend, coming in as a sophomore who's been playing football the last couple of years up in Oregon. It's a safety up at Pacific University, and he will come in and run the offense for Uzels. We have a timeout with 11:01 to go in the half.
And Rusty's been really positive about Donovan Townsend, not only with his energy and his scoring, but just his leadership. He's a positive and vibrant guy coming from football. We know he's going to have some speed in his pop in this game. Can it be under control? Can the basketball go to the correct hands right now? Because Cuesta really hasn't found an offensive rhythm other than Aguado's 3 and maybe an offensive rebound here and there, but have not seen that proficiency from deep that typifies a Cougar team, especially splashing from behind the line.
So we'll see Townsend running the offense a bit. Again, Uzel has been there running things, not so much part of the offense yet. Obviously, they're trying to get some other folks involved. Horn, coming off that long layup, but we're also starting to see some of that athleticism from Liam, too.
Well, absolutely, off the drive, but he really hasn't had a bunch of room to do so other than that one time. I think overall the Cougars are recognizing early on in this season that they don't have a big they can kind of throw it in, that oasis that can get an excellent and easy shot.
And not that guy in the block who also was great on the boards like Montavani.
Right.
who's moved on now and plays at Robert Morris. Division I.
To the East Coast. And, Cuesta has produced those types of guys before, but that guy's energy was always on the cusp, teeter-tottering between what could be physical and what could be out of control.
Townsend travels, trying to find a way to get it to Gilroy. So making the adjustment from coming in wearing number 1 and out of Modesto and Central Catholic High School. Was an all-league player and a team MVP, but this is his first action since high school.
Interesting sets for Cuesta right now, really trying to exploit that high post. Again, not the physical advantage inside, a lot of bumping and clogging on the offensive side.
Foul that's going to be on the Cougars, and that's going to be on Townsend. Saunders back in the game, and Horn, who spilled him, will have a seat with 10:31 to go in the half. Still 7-5 Cuesta. Also, Nolan Davis-Cerna, 34, returns to action. Brandon Sanders will sit. Also, for the first time this year, Alex Owandi out of Sofia, Bulgaria, 6'7", 217 sophomore, who played in 16 games last year. Number 44 comes in for the Cougars.
You're okay. Easy. Motion. You're good.
Ray Lowe, who's checked in as well, number 20, running the offense, placing Abdul Rasul. Wade Edwards, and back to Lowe. Werner with it, 15 to shoot. And back underneath, Swade Edwards trying to find something and unable to, steps out. Actually, check that Nolan Davis-Cerna did not return. It's actually 34, Baratuku Aoga.
And his battle with Alex Owandi and the interior seems to be the most physically present guys on either one of these teams. We'll watch them closely for the bumps and bangs they're looking forward to.
Under 10 minutes to go in the first half, still 7-5 Cougars. We've been on that score for quite a while. Saunders mixing it up with Fuji Rios with a lob inside. And a whistle that will go against the Cougars, and again, that's 2 quick ones on Donovan Townsend, which will mean 4 team fouls for the Cougars, 3 on the Vikings. Tukua Aoga is out, and now De La Serna is in, and now coming in, we're going to see Michele Capasso out of Italy, though he played last year with some great distinction in Montana for a year high school. He wears number 3 and is on the court for the Cougars with 9:40 to go in the half.
And Rusty likes his game, his energy, his athleticism, but he says maybe the communication barrier more difficult for him than anyone else on the team.
Low to Edwards, 12 on the clock. Fuji Rios lost it for a second, got it back. De La Serna back out. Abdul Rasul lobbing it inside. De La Serna has enough time with 3 on the clock to bank that home. His first points. First points in a while. We're tied at 7.
Well, rarely do you want your point guard shedding jump passes, but on the interior, lobbing over defense after you've drawn 2. Nice play by Abdullah.
Owandi wanted to go behind the back working against Edwards. They get tied up, and that is going to be an arm and a foul from Swade Edwards. 4 fouls on each team now. First foul on Edwards. And in for the first time, number 24, Colton Hill, freshman forward, and replacing Fuji Rios. Abdul Rasul has 5 of the 7 for the Vikings, and that shot by Serna, the only other points. Cougars have it spread around 3 different players. Guado the most with the 3 early on. 8:56 to go in the half. Guado, plenty of time. Trying to get to Saunders, lost it. Scramble on the floor. Owandi down in there with Hill, who just came in.
Now from behind, they're going to call a foul on Alex. Jumping onto the pile there, I was surprised it wasn't called earlier, but again, trying to force feed it into this high post for the Cougars. The West Valley defense doing an excellent job of not only ball pressure the entry, but using that 3-quarter and great footwork, getting around the offensive recipient there at the high post.
Owandi's first foul, 5th on the Cougars. Michael O'Neill, number 31, in for the first time, replacing Ray Lowe. 8:48 to go in the half. We're tied at 7. Not sure this is too unusual. I looked at West Valley's last game last year against San Jose City. That was 19-15 at the half. The game ended the final score. That was 44-41.
Yeah, West Valley has chewed the offensive clock on this front. They've already with one shot clock violation and a couple other near misses. Ball's moving pretty well. There's just not really a shot maker at the end of the clock.
Edwards over to Abdul Rasul. O'Neal, who's just checked in. 10 to shoot. It's not unusual when you hear the bench calling it out, as they do in all the possessions. Inside, and same thing worked out. Offloaded it to De La Serna. Vikings had their first lead in a while. De La Serna with 4 points.
As a post defender there, Alex Awunde, you can't help up. You can't come up the lane and allow the dump-off pass to the big, who easily skirts it off the glass.
Aguado running things. And over to Awandi, who gets his first bucket. Is able to roll that one in, 9-all.
I think from a coaching perspective, both of these guys would love their point guards to play in the paint just like we saw these last 2 possessions, utilizing the bigs for easy opportunities off the glass.
Tapped away, and here comes Capasso. Trying to move around O'Neal. Gets it under control and back to Awandi. 7:40 to go in the half, and we're tied at 9. Awandi trying to set a pick for Aguado. Firing over to Liam. 12 to shoot. Saunders trying to go baseline on Hill. It's not there. 7 to shoot. Liam looking for something. Eyes the clock. Working around Awandi. 3, 2, 1, and will not go. And it's a shot clock violation on the Cougars. Meanwhile, Uzul is going to come back and give Aguado a breather. Fuji Rios returns for Edwards for the Vikings. Also Horn back in for Liam on the Cougar side.
As an athlete, really in any sport, you look for your second win, and I think neither one of these squads, they seem to be, albeit their first game of the year, real game action. They played in a couple September events, some jamborees, and it's just not the same once the real season starts. So they're looking for that second win. We'll see if Uzul can come up with something.
O'Neal, Abdul Rasul going baseline, tries to reverse, got the bucket and the foul. Mohamed Abdul Rasul with 7 points, as we have 6:58 to go in the half. And that's going to give the Vikings the lead back and the first team to make it into double digits. Foul's going to be Nwandi, his second, and the 6th on the Cougars. In for the first time, Davey Wick out of Purcell, Virginia, number 32, replacing Nwandi. Wick, 6'5", 180, a freshman who can play any of the wing spots for the Cougars. Abdul Rasul, and gets the bounce. He's got 8. And the biggest lead for either team right now, 3 points.
Yeah, Wick, a pretty good story, has come from the East Coast, but his aunt lives in Los Osos right around the corner, was able to, as you said, spend that time and kind of get far from home, but close to home cooking, if you will.
Indeed, Uzul back into Capasso. Around the perimeter, Horn's got it. Uzul, 8 to shoot. Cougars being patient. Spin from Uzul over to Wick. He'll take the 3 from the right side, will not go. Chased down by Abdul Rasul with 6:26 to go in the half. O'Neal finds an opening. He will take a quick 3, and that's an early shot for the Vikings, but it falls for Michael O'Neal. His first points, 15-9.
Yeah, just a simple flare screen after throwing it back to the middle of the floor. Oftentimes difficult as a shooter to backpedal, catch, and release. He did it nicely.
Uzul won't get it, but Horn tapping it over to Saunders. Spin inside Uzul, waiting. Got the foul and the 2. Karim Uzul, who now has 4 points and can go to the line and close it down to a 1-possession game with 5:54 to go in the first.
Yeah, look at his body, and he's easily possible to play in there with some strength. Not the supreme elevation, but really an offhand. In that case, a right-handed finish with a little spin after the bump.
And the second foul on Abdul Rasul, but one got rescinded earlier, so that may in fact be the first. O'Neal's going to come out, and Werner from the starting lineup back in. That's the 5th foul on the Vikings. And we have a whistle. The officials are conferring.
Well, the free throw has to count. It was going in there, but it was going to be from Horn trying to push through and go after an offensive board.
I think that's what they're trying to.
And will it put West Valley at a 1-1 afterwards? Yeah.
So it's as was said, the free throw is going to be good for Uzel to give him 5. That makes it a 3-point game, but that's also now the 7th foul. And that foul is going to be registered to Davey Wick. So that means as was saw coming, it's the 1-and-1 now in a 15-12 game with 5:54 to go in the half, and the free throws will be shot by Colton Hill.
And sometimes you see that a play on, or at least a stern warning from the officials. Not many times a loose ball foul call on a made free throw as it tumbled in. I didn't see anything malicious, thus just the encouragement. But as we know, sometimes early on in seasons, officials like to get their whistles going as well. Early on in the game with all the missed shots and the flow of the game, now we've had a couple more blows.
And set a tone as Hill makes them both, and it's back to a 5-point lead at 17-12. Horn into the corner. Wick, the 3 will not go, and another whistle inside.
Well, the ball hit the not many college gymnasiums, atmospheres have that type of belt and restraint for basket support that comes so far over the cylinder. Leading upwards. It's 17, 18 feet high, but that ball is still well in play.
So it goes over to the Vikings at 5:38 left in the half. Lob in, De La Serna got position, and he's had 6 points, all from point-blank range. 5.5 to go in the half, 19-12.
Yeah, the Vikings have had some nice sets for open looks. That time a nicely executed pass over the top. They cleared that weak side, providing no help after the lob.
Capasso, and going down low, Saunders. Can't get it. De La Serna with the rebound. They're going to push it up as Hill got past everybody. Some contact, and then Uzel coming out of the crowd over to Capasso, who hasn't had a look really yet. Uzel's going to go in, work around De La Serna at the edge of the circle, and finish off 7 points for Karem Uzel.
It was a nice extra pass. You center the basketball when you have advantages, and that time accomplished. Your point guard finishing at the rim, not what Cuesta has had in the past, but nicely done.
5-point game. And a couple subs set to re-enter the game for both teams. Abdul Rasul trying to get away from Capasso. Pulls back to the 3-line, off balance, and able to get the call and drain what appears to be a 3, and that is exactly what it is. It's going to be 11 points now for Abdul Rasul. That's going to be the 8th foul on the Cougars. And a chance for a 4-point play. Saunders and Capasso coming out for the Cougars. Gilroy and Aguado coming in. Fuji Rios out along with Hill for the Vikings. And a timeout call with 4:36 to go. A full timeout, 22-14. Vikings have found a way to open things up, taking some good shots and being pretty opportunistic.
And you look at kind of the bench energy. Anytime there's energy coming from the bench onto the floor after a couple shot makes, you can get excited about that. But they found the free throw line as well. When we check the stats here to see the difference in shot making from the free throw line, those are bonus points right now for Scott Idle George's team.
Finding some range from outside, had a nice made bucket from O'Neal in there. But Cougars, moving the ball around, but still looking for ways, it seems, to create for some of these really talented offensive players we've talked about.
Well, I think early on, force-feeding the high post has not been kind of a prescription that is working right now for Cuesta. Really to the fact because there's not great decision-making out of that high post. Not really sizeful or ability to get around anyone from that area. But the skip passes, I think that was one of the designs to try to get shooters open of skipping to the opposite side. There hasn't been a great dribble drive action for Cuesta right now. They're struggling to find an offensive continuity. Can't really force it into this inside. Again, Cuesta doesn't have any big guys of the Oasis. Just kind of throw it in there, let them go to work. So right now, Cuesta's got to figure it out, whether it's transition or just going screen and roll with some of their shot-making guards can create some more offense.
And as part of this been perimeter defense from the Vikings, they've been out at the 3-line and really taken that part away from the Cougars.
Well, they know after Aguado had hit his first one, they're going to be all over him. But for Uzel, at this point, he's going to have to be kind of that maestro to create some offensive rhythm because the interior, of course, with Ryan Gilroy instituted back into this game, we'll see if he can do anything in this last 5 minutes.
Abdul Rasul at the free throw line, and it is a 4-point play. That gives him 12 and almost a double-digit lead with 4:35 to go in the half. Wick back to Horn. So a taller Cougar lineup. Stolen by Werner, trying to go into Gilroy. Werner seeing a path, navigating through, tangling up with Gilroy, and drawing foul number 9 of the half. So one away from double bonus with 4:20 left, and that is for Ryan Gilroy, his second. Joey Liam standing by at the scorer's table. Josh Werner at the line for the Vikings. And like Eric Horn out of Lee High School in the San Jose area. And the first of two will not go. Liam will return and replace Davey Wick. Werner unable to convert either one. Horn with the outlet to Ozel with 4:17 to go in the half. Lob from Aguado inside. Horn has position, cannot finish though. Lowe gets the board.
And the Vikings all over the painted area defensively right now, contesting shots, passing angles not there. Cuesta's got to find something a little bit more perimeter oriented.
Abdul Rasul on the run, and again to a trailing De La Serna. He's got 8 there right on the doorstep of the hoop. It's a double-digit lead for the Vikings, 25-14. Ball knocked out of bounds with a State Cougar ball with 3:51 to go in the half. Ozel picked up by Werner. Liam and Horn. Ozel again. Werner coming way out for defense. Liam. Guarded by Edwards, well outside, 9 to shoot. Aguado will launch a contested 3, will not go. Lowe comes in to get the board.
And really no offensive rebounding opportunity there for Horn. It would have been a one-on-one matchup, but easily checked out physically, staying away from that offensive board.
3:15 to go in the first. Lowe picked up by Ozel. Go deep to Werner with 9 to shoot. Trying to drive on Liam Can't. Lowe inside against a double team finishes. That's the first bucket for Ray Lowe, the sophomore guard. 27-14.
And pumping his bicep on the way back down the floor. Really for Cuesta, no ability to contest shots at the rim. That was an opportunity for Gilroy to do something.
And there's Gilroy, a 3. They missed the rim entirely. Werner's got it. Townsend's been waiting at the scorer's table to go in for the Cougars, and O'Neal set to return for the Vikings with 2:36 to go in the half.
Yeah, stuck on 14 here for minutes and growing. Cuesta just needs a solid last 2 minutes. They're going to go into halftime with a deficit. It matters whether it'll be 20s or will it be single digits.
De La Serna loses it. Horn controls it. He'll be patient and bring it up over to Ozel. 2:15 to go in the half. Miscommunication and threw it away. Looking to Aguado by the Viking bench. O'Neal and Fuji Rios returning. Lowe is going to come out along with, let's see. Well, there's going to be a timeout called first, so we'll sort out the lineups when we return at 2:11 right now. But again, it seems the Vikings really have set the tempo, or I guess we would say lack thereof, where they've just, like you say, just been kind of milking that shot clock the entire time and really forcing the Cougars to play their game.
Yeah, a time of possession game definitely favoring the Vikings at this point. But I just look at the second wind inability right now for the Cougars. And, of course, when you make shots, that drastically changes. But we'll see 3 or 4 subs coming in here at the next dead ball. I'd just like to see a little more continuity, a little movement, a couple more players screening on the offensive end. The high post, you might as well scratch it for the remainder of the first half because it's only leading to turnovers and forced passes on the interior. So right now for Cuesta, just trying. It's not so much the effort. I think it's more of the structure and spacing that will allow them to create a little bit more continuity, forcing West Valley to play longer into the shot clock defensively. The game far from over. It's only 13 points, but you want to finish this first half strong, and that would also play into the fact that the Cougars have given up too many layups these last 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the Cougars, have been patient on their own, but it hasn't been necessarily a lot of missed shots. They've just trying to create some quality opportunities, it seems.
And they can be gut blows as far as frustrations. When you miss on your end and the other team kind of milks and walks it through and figures out how to shoot a layup on you. So for West Valley, they're completely controlled this half so far.
Donovan Townsend returns it for the first time. Sandre Rodal from the Norwegian national team, number 5, a guard, and Townsend with the steal. He's got a breakaway, and maybe that's just what the Cougars need. It finishes off and gets his first 2 as a Cougar.
Yeah, just putting a little speed and athleticism on there. Got to be careful now with 2 fouls, but playing the passing lanes easily. West Valley too nonchalant on that reversal.
Minute 45 to go in the half. O'Neal, who's back in to Swade Edwards. Fuji Rios trying to get away from Wick, who is back in. Rodal in there with some energetic defense. Townsend got caught out of position for a second. Fuji Rios goes in. Did not get the bucket, but did get the whistle. That'll be the 10th Cougar foul with 90 seconds left in the half, and it's going to be on Nick Gapch, an Australian 6'4", 185 freshman who has also come in for the first time. So Rusty Blair trying some different combinations and trying to get something going. Fuji Rios' first one is good in his first point.
Watch quick.
And for the Vikings right now, kind of opposite of what Cuesta has done. They've utilized the high post, but have cut quickly off of that handoffs, dribble attacks. The fluidity and the openness of the Viking offense produced a foul in that possession.
2 free throws for Ben Fuji Rios, 13-point game with a minute 25 to go in the half. Donovan Townsend running the offense over to Gapch. Gapch, the Australian, also in for the first time. Jordy Cygnus Beltry, number 55, as the Cougars get a bucket.
Yeah, a little Wick to the left hand, a big-to-big pass, if you will. I know Wick is kind of more of a guard size type, but a nice interior feed there and a beautiful left hand.
Fuji Rios, as we're under a minute to go. Werner, O'Neal, Gapch gambled. Edwards spins with 6 on the shot clock and is able to get it to fall. Swade Edwards' his first bucket.
Yeah, bonus bucket. A couple extra pivots there. The officials, I think, got caught up looking at the beauty and tightness of that spin.
Townsend going baseline, not enough on it though, and Edwards has it as we have a 2-second differential. We're under 30 seconds to go in the half. 31-18, West Valley.
Get down there, Swade. Just bounce it. Nothing.
Josh Werner will take his time and
Swade, come get it. Swade, come
milk
get it.
the clock, but that has been the first half strategy for the Vikings, and it has worked for them. Edwards, Fuji Rios with 6 seconds to go, misses it all entirely. Gapch has it. There's only a couple seconds left. It'll go to Townsend, who will run out of time. So the Cougars down at the half by a score of 31-18, trying some different things at the end of the half. If you're Rusty Blair and you're going in and talking to the team at halftime, what are you focusing on?
Well, you allowed the whole bench to get in there towards the end of the first half, and there was a nice play, interior pass, but I think more than anything, it's just player movement that is going to be talked about for this second half for Cuesta. It's really been a clogging of the high post. It's led to turnovers, and it's a frustrating defensive scenario too when you're not making or getting shots. So I'd expect a couple quick hitters for your best shooters to start this second half, but really for Cuesta, they're far from out of it. They've yet just to see the ball kind of go in from their traditional shot maker. So frustrating first half, albeit the first of the year. I don't think Rusty's willing to throw in the towel now, knowing that I don't think they can play, or at least haven't been playing as bad as they played that first 20 minutes.
And again, because it is a low-scoring game, they're still pretty close, and a good surge at the start of the second half can take care of business for them. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will have the start of the second half from here at the 48th Annual Rabbobank Tournament. It's the Cougars trailing the Vikings here on Cuesta TV.
Cuesta.edu. Television, radio, broadcast, communication. Explore the world of digital communication and tap into your creative genius. Television, radio, broadcast, communication.
This is your boy, the DUI, and you're listening to KGUR.org.
Your digital future is at Cuesta College right now. Log on to Cuesta.edu now for enrollment dates and class information.
Hey, don't put the boom in the shop.
Blown it, bro.
Cuesta.edu.
And welcome back. We're about ready for the start of the second half. It's 31-18. West Valley leading the Cougars, changing the pace and mixing things up a bit. Looking at the first half scoring, Karam Uzel was 7 for the Cougars and Andres Aguado for 3, so it's been spread out. On the other hand, for the Vikings, Abdul Rasul with 12 points. De La Serna has 8 together. They have more than the entire Cougar team. For the Cougars coming out, got to find some way to get on the board in the second half.
Well, really, when you look at the Cougars in years past, it's been how effective can the 3-ball be for this team, and right now only a handful of those. Of course, Aguado is a guy that jump-started the scoring for their team this evening, but really not able to get some subsequent touches after that. I will not be surprised if they get Townsend in this rotation a little bit more. Donovan with 2 fouls, but he just brings that energy, that on-ball presence that can kind of push in transition and create. So playing with 3 guards, I would expect 3 quicker guards is an opportunity for the Cuesta offense to at least get jump-started, creating some pace for this squad.
And we did see the Cougars take a lot of folks off the bench, including Townsend coming back in for another stint after those 2 fouls at the end of the half. We also saw Rodal coming in as well. But again, maybe a little surprising. Aguado really hasn't, after that early 3, really hasn't been able to do much.
Yeah, his legs look a little heavy, a little tired right now, but that really to be said for 4 different of the starters. I think Azul is starting to get a little bit more continuity, finding the paint and a couple buckets there. But I think for the Cougars, they're going to go to the bench a little bit earlier in the second half to get the second wind of these guys trying to push some more tempo.
Well, the Cougars with the same lineup to start this half with Saunders, Aguado, Liam, Uzel, and Gilroy. Meanwhile, we see Abdul Rasul, Werner, along with De La Serna, Edwards, and Huerta. Same starting 5 for the Vikings as well. Huerta had run into early foul trouble. We didn't see too much of him, and he just loses the ball there. Number 15, he had the 2 early fouls, so Cougar ball for their first possession of the second half.
Yeah, stacking stops. You know, coaches talk about how many times can you do it consecutively. There's one to start. Can you get a good look here and build on top of it?
Abdul Rasul picking up Aguado up top. Saunders. Aguado 3 isn't there, finding Gilroy. 15 to shoot. Aguado slaps the ball. Looking inside to Gilroy again. Back out, Aguado will take it. He's got some space. The 3 will not go. Offensive rebound to Saunders, though. Lost it off Huerta. Gilroy's got it. New 34 of the Cougars as we're in the first minute of the second half. Uzel, leading scorer for the Cougars, to Liam, and now back over to Aguado with 15 to shoot. Saunders, elbow, rolls around, will not go. Huerta pulls it down.
Well, 2 looks, 2 pretty good ones. Of course, Aguado had to catch that one off his shoe tops for the first 3-pointer. Not his best look, but at least he's getting one.
Swade Edwards. And finds Nolan De La Serna. Abdul Rasul down the baseline to Huerta, 10 to shoot. This is very typical for West Valley. Running down the clock as much as they can. Finger roll and a few spins around for Abdul Rasul, the game's leading scorer with 14.
Yeah, on his way to being the player of the game. I just like his activity, his curls to the paint. He's been patient initially on the offense, but then finding the painted area.
Lob to Saunders, who could not finish. De La Serna with the board. We have Abdul Rasul, leading scorer on last year's team with 14 a game. He has that already here in the early part of the second half. Huerta, eyed by Saunders. And Liam on Werner with 14 to shoot. De La Serna, Edwards finds an open 3. Uzel was a little bit late, and Swade Edwards makes him pay. 5 points for Swade Edwards.
Yeah, look out right now because the cross screen, down screen action, not even close to your best shooter on the team. Rusty wants to talk about it. Cuesta's trying. They're just missing some shots, and they're a little outmanned on the defensive end of not getting through screens.
West Valley being very opportunistic, and again, Abdul Rasul finding ways to make some shots, and they found De La Serna at times for some early stuff, but now we're seeing some contributions for some other folks. We see Rusty Blair talking with the team in the huddle and just trying to find some kind of way to spark some offense.
It is the offense, but you started with a forced turnover the second half, but then a layup, a wide open 3, and those are mounting plays that can kind of be the punches to a confidence of a team that is trying to make their first comeback of the year. So early doubled up, not what they were looking for. 5-0 run, the opposite direction to start this half. Cuesta's got to pull this together. Who do you want getting a shot? We haven't seen anything from Liam, anything designed for him. Probably the best body on the team. Saunders the best jumper, but Liam's got to get involved here a little bit more off the dribble.
Cougars had the opportunity to come back in games last year. We were looking for some of that explosiveness, and we see a three. You talk about Joey Liam. There you go.
We had an option there to redrive it to the left, but a beautiful footwork rhythm and his follow-through there. He's going to be a key offensively to get back in this.
Cougars down 36-21. Liam with 5 points. Verner will reset it back. 12 to shoot. Edwards, baseline, trying to go around Uzal. Can't. They'll send out to De La Cerda. Time running out. Abdul Rasul loses it, but a whistle appears to be on Joey Liam, and he cops to it immediately. That will be his first foul, and the first foul of the half on either team. New 30 for the Vikes. Right to De La Serna, and 10 points all from within a couple feet of the basket for Nolan De La Serna.
Yeah, frustrating. When you lose sight of your man, are you switching? Are you protecting the rim on the inside? Not even close for the Cougars defense.
Saunders' three doesn't go, and we see Townsend going to the bench. Something that was mentioned to try and spark things as Aguado, though, finds that open look in the left corner for his second tray of the game. Cougars down to 38-24.
Yeah, there are a couple ways to get shooters going, and one of those is off extra passes and reversals. But anytime you offensive rebound and swing it, Aguado is a guy that when he runs to the line, teammates should absolutely throw it to him. Nice play.
Abdul Rasul left open at the three line. A little bit off the mark, though. Offensive board for the Vikings. And the board from Colton Hill, who's checked back in, has a bit of a spark for the team in the first half.
Cuesta showing this little yo-yo zone. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the corners.
And the corner three will not go for Hill. Uzal to bring it up. 16-13 to go in the game. As a whistle. And Vikings getting a little excited.
De La Center running through. Really Gilroy trying to post in transition. You have a little lead on that transition-wise. You slow down, almost like trapping someone on the highway. He bulldozed through.
That's his second foul. Noah Saunders out and Alex Awandi back in. New 30 for the Cougars, 16-10 to go. Uzal pulling back, and again, originally it looked like Townsend was coming in, and then a change of mind, it seems. And meanwhile, Cougars will turn it over.
Yeah, Alex Awande is a guy that thinks he's a guard at times, even though with a bigger body. And unfortunately, on previous Cuesta teams, he could have filled that role of kind of being a slashing three-man. He's more relegated to the inside, at least from Rusty's desires. But when he feels offensive plays are his to make, turnovers can be part of that routine.
Skipped over and deflected by Awande. They were looking for Abdul Rasul in the corner. It will stay Viking ball, but 11 to shoot after the deflection with 15:41 left.
And one of the positives out of this zone defense is both in long rebounds and skip passes. If you can create and dislodge that ball, it really allows that weak side offense to kind of push in transition. Can Aguado get one at a trail three? Can someone rim running come up with an easy one?
Sent out high to Verner, 10 to shoot. Edwards going inside, loses it. Here comes Aguado. Cougars taking off down the floor, sending it to Uzal, who will finish.
Yeah, zones have a way of kind of propelling your offense at times. Turnovers, you're kind of automatically spaced to run the floor offensively. Nice, best transition we've seen from Cuesta this evening.
Yeah, great counterattack there, and Scott Idlegeorge is going to put a stop to that and talk to his team right now with a quick timeout with 15:25 to go in the half. 38-26. Uzal getting some points. We're also finding Aguado at least starting to find some shot, and Liam getting involved. So some of the things that you were talking about going in the second half seem to be picking up now. But again, I think that was real encouraging, that quick transition. There was just no hesitation by the Cougars on that fast break.
Yeah, and coaches have a myriad of options to kind of jump-start squads. You can press to create energy. You can go zone at times to get better rebounding and better floor spacing and transition. We've seen the zone first. Will Rusty come out of this timeout and kind of jump West Valley with some sort of trap or rotational defense? I think Liam is still a huge key, and for Aguado, who made that assist to a streaking Uzal, that was the best burst I had seen from him. And as a shooter wearing number 10 tonight, an assist sometimes can get a scorer going, feeling like he contributed positively to the play after he made that corner three.
Number 10, Ben Fuji Rios returns. Saw a lot of action in the first half. Wandi in for Saunders. Otherwise, it's the starters right now for the Cougars, and as was described it, the yo-yo zone with Aguado up top in it. 9 to shoot. Fuji Rios. Werner running out of time, so it goes to Abdul Rasul. Way too far. Werner will launch it and somehow make the prayer, which was answered for 3.
I'm not sure if he was confident that he was going to make it or just surprising himself, but quite emphatic as he got to the half-court line before the ball went through the net.
Well, that clock was winding down. He was out of options. And launched it, and it fell home. 41 to 26, 14-38, and a whistle.
Gilroy's a workhorse, and anytime you throw him in the block, especially with a guard on him, he's going to use that backside, ride him out of there. Official felt obliged. It was a beneficial whistle.
First foul on Ben Fuji-Rios, second foul of the half on the Vikings. New shot clock for the Cougars. Gilroy. Aguado comes free for a moment. Can't go to Awandi, so he'll go to Uzal instead. Calls out Awandi up front. Liam found some space straight away, won't go, and Werner wins the race to the ball.
Another good look going to his left. Liam, a guy that can elevate. He's got good stature, good leg strength there. I love his release at the high point as well. Good look.
Abdul Rasul, Fuji-Rios, Edwards, and a whistle, and Liam appears will be picking up, and that is the case, going to pick up his second. Cougars second. Eric Horn, number 40, back in. Freshman out of Los Gatos will replace the Dutchman Liam. 14:06 to go. Also off the bench quickly, Michael O'Neill, who's provided some spot relief. He will replace Josh Werner. Abdul Rasul. Got Fuji-Rios open, got it back. He will take the 3. In and out will go. Awandi in there with some position. Had it, lost it. Then it looked like Aguado had it. Awandi diving on the floor. And it will be a foul on the Vikings coming in late. That's going to be Michael O'Neill committing the 3rd team foul and his first.
It's kind of a good game for Alex Awunde to be inserted into because from an offensive proficiency standpoint, Coach Rusty and his staff are still trying to work through kind of how he deliberately works the offensive angles. But as far as an effort and contagious factor defensively, rebounding, diving on the floor, those are absolute positives that we're seeing from his minutes here in the second half.
Uzal. Gilroy inside. Awandi turn around the paint, won't go though. Not much of a trajectory, and Dale Lacerna got the board. 13:37 to go in the half.
There's a really good look on the inside. With that left hand, he's got good touch, as you said, way too flat.
Deflection from Aguado. Gilroy came up with it. Here comes Awandi working inside. Pass on the shot. They'll send it back out high. Horn worked around. Aguado open from the corner. It will not go. O'Neill with better position. Got it before Horn.
As a shooter, sometimes you'll think all night about those ones that were wide open that just could not drop. He's having a tough first game of the season so far. Only a couple makes.
Fuji-Rios and Abdul Rasul again. 15 on the shot clock is early for the Vikes in this game. Now 10 down. O'Neill, Edwards. Can't go baseline. Gilroy anticipated. 4, 3, 2 over to Fuji-Rios, running out of time. He will not get it off in time. And the Cougars with a stop. Ray Lowe to return for Fuji-Rios for the Vikings. Donovan Townsend also in for Aguado.
Yeah, and coaches never want turnovers, but West Valley a couple times with non-live ball turnovers. Dead ball, shot clocks, throwing it out of bounds, doesn't allow the opposition to kind of run and double down on a deficiency of an offensive set. So Cuesta having their opportunities here, got to start to make some shots.
So Townsend's in, but Uzal running the offense. Over to Townsend, number 1, rolling it down. Gilroy back out. Townsend skipped over high for Uzal. And a turnover by the Cougars with 12.5 left in regulation.
Yeah, passing angles. Of course, skip passes can decimate defense, but without ball faking and shifting that initial trend, tough angle for a lefty to throw it across his body and over bigger defenders and smaller receivers.
Cougars in the zone, Uzel on top of it, and Townsend up there as well. Swung around O'Neal. Vikings showing characteristic patience. Abdul Rasul inside sees Swade Edwards, had position. Couldn't get it on the putback. De La Serna couldn't. A fourth chance will not go for low, and Ryan Gilroy's got the board. Out to Uzel, pressing the issue. Got some contact, did not get the layup. But we'll get a whistle. Karem Uzel will head to the line as we're under 12 minutes to go, and that's going to be number 3 on Nolan De La Serna. Third team foul.
And Randy, thinking back to my playing days, I'd always check 2 factors, especially coming into a new gym, what the basketballs were like and what the rims were like. And for Cuesta, they changed the rims here in the offseason. They're much more stiff. They bend and flex one direction. Their previous rims were what they called trifolds. Some of the softer rims in all of the area this year replaced with something much more stiff, and it really benefited them last possession. West Valley missing all those tips.
Subs set to come in for both teams now that the floor has been addressed. Karem Uzel with 9 at the line. Cougars trying to get a little closer, though. They were down 13 at the half and down now 14 after Uzel gets into double figures. Horn comes out, Saunders in for the Cougars. Meanwhile, it's going to be Sanders and Huerta in for the Vikings with Edwards and De La Serna leaving. Uzel makes them both. And he is the Cougars high scorer with 11. Cougars have it back to the halftime margin of 13. Both teams with 10 points in this half. 8 minutes in. Abdul Rasul low. O'Neal, he will take the 3, 15 on the clock. It will go long and pulled in Awandi to push it up. Running the court along with Uzel, over to Uzel. He will get himself some space. Could not finish, swatted away by Awandi, but Abdul Rasul's got it. Mohamed Abdul Rasul from Sunnyvale and Fremont High School. Or number 5. Huerta in the corner has a look. Gilroy's a little bit late. The 3 won't go. Saunders taps it to Awandi. He'll send it up court to Uzel. But better positioned was Low, and he gets the turnover. 11-minute mark now. Abdul Rasul. Vikings feeling it a bit and taking some earlier shots. The 3 won't go. Saunders with the board.
Figure it out! Figure it out!
Townsend rolling it down low. Awandi spinning away from a double team. It won't go. Weak side rebound, though. Pulled down Saunders. And a whistle. Second foul on O'Neal, 4th team foul. Werner will return, and O'Neal will sit. It would seem no, it's going to be Abdul Rasul getting a breather with 10:37 to go.
And that's really Saunders' game. Offensive rebound putbacks. We've really yet to see him play around the rim as far as putbacks and tips. Cuesta's going to need some easy buckets here. Good start there.
Awandi creating space and putting it in with the right hand. He has 4.
Well, his cuts have been strong. He's obviously got the body of one of the better out here this evening, but as a lefty, he's just got to put a little force to that left side. He's able to spin back and use either hand on the interior. Definitely an offensive potential and a jump starter to get back in this game.
De La Serna is set to return after this full timeout called by Coach Scott Idlegeorge of the Vikings. Idlegeorge in his 9th year, graduate of St. Mary's, who actually was a standout soccer player. Rusty Blair from the University of Oregon. We see some duckwear here tonight. All-time winningest coach in Cougar history, 455 wins and 319 losses. So the Cougars slowly making some progress, finding some success, and like you're saying, kind of building that confidence a bit.
Well, I think it's confidence, but I've just kind of seen a second wind from players, and it's hard sometimes. You practice for 3, 4, 5 weeks, and it's like, hey, when will the season start? And you kind of get in here. Not that hyperventilating is it, but I just sense some sluggishness from the guards so far this evening. With the one day coming into the game, I think with the opportunity for Noah Sanders to play some bounce, Cuesta's gone to a zone, and that's a way to conserve energy and push on the offensive end as well. So these next couple minutes will be integral as far as cutting this lead back down to single digits, and I think Idle George ultimately respects that as well. He's used his timeouts, at least 2 now here in the second half, to kind of figure, hey guys, keep chewing clock, taking great shots, and making sure their interior offense of Cuesta does not get jump-started.
10:25 left, and he has been actively substituting the entire game. Rusty Blair, depending more, I guess, on just how things have gone and been trying to find a combination. This is his starting lineup with a couple of changes with Townsend and Awandi out there. As Edwards to Werner. And De La Cerner's back in with the 3 fouls. O'Neal left open, will take the long 3, goes over Awandi's head, and Lowe will get the offensive board. It was 31-18 at the half. Cougars have gotten in a little bit closer, but it hasn't been single digits for a while. Edwards will try the reverse again, and with the same result as last time. O'Neal back out, 7 to shoot as the clock did not reset. O'Neal from the corner won't go. Saunders has some position. He's got it. He's off to the races. Ozel, Saunders working around Werner off the glass, and it's good for Noah Saunders, his first 2.
Yeah, it's a question I had for Rusty on Sunday. I said, do you like your bigs, in this case, a guy like Noah Saunders, to rebound and push? He said, I like it to get into the guards, but there's some athleticism there to push to get to half court, put pressure on a retreating defense. Beautiful play by Saunders, maybe the best fast break of the game.
Single digits for the first time since the first half. As far as the Viking lead is concerned, De La Cerna back outside. Werner's got it, 7 to shoot. Low into the corner. Edwards taking the shot with Abdul Rasul on the bench. De La Cerna had it, slapped away. Who's it off? Speaking of Abdul Rasul, he is back, and it will be, after the deflection, Cougar ball. O'Neal coming out with 9:11 to go.
The Vikings have attacked that zone appropriately. I think the extra swing, they're drawing Gilroy out from the basket into the corner. It's a long rotation. It's provided offensive rebound opportunities. They've missed a couple chippies as well and a couple open threes, but this is playing into the hands of a Cuesta team. You get a bucket here, the confidence is only going to magnify.
Cougars with Awandi, Saunders, Oza with the ball. Also Gilroy and Townsend, Abdul Rasul, Edwards, De La Cerna, Lowe on the court for the Vikings, along with Werner. Under 9 minutes to go, and De La Cerna leaning in on Ozel. If that's on him, that is 4.
Yeah, that high post drive there. You take your point guard at times after that ball is swung, and he goes strong with those broad shoulders, short in size, but quick with that left hand.
So again, they're going to downsize the team a bit. They have to. They realize it's the 4th foul on De La Cerna, and they rush Colton Hill, number 24, into the game. Lob inside to Saunders, but Lowe had better position off the lob. Abdul Rasul brings it up, 8:50 to go. Lowe, Townsend watching him, up front along with Ozel in the zone. Inside, Townsend got a hand on it. Gilroy comes up with it, trying to maintain control despite active defense from Abdul Rasul. Saunders front court pulls up, short jumper from the corner is going to fall. Noah Saunders with a couple buckets.
Now his elevation, it's beautiful to watch that release. It's a little different than most of the players out here. There's some pogo, there's some bounce. Saunders definitely making a contribution this second half.
Cougars keep chipping away. 7-point game. Ozel with pressure in the backcourt. 15 to shoot. Abdul Rasul pushing it into the front court. Not a lot of time to work with due to the active defense. Werner over to Lowe. He'll take the wing 3 with 3 on the shot clock, and he will make it. Ray Lowe with 5 points. And a full timeout will be called by Scott Idlegeorge as they push it back to 10 with 7:51 to go. Some good defense from the Cougars and pushing it into the backcourt, but the Vikings find a way to respond, and Lowe making the contested 3.
Yeah, scramble scenarios, and fortunate not to run through the shooter. I think it was a good non-call there. He really wasn't bumped, but the scramble plays that lead to 3-point daggers. I mean, Cuesta making that charge with Saunders, hitting that baseline jumper, but that was essentially a stop that you didn't finish. The ball was into that backcourt. They had to scramble and shoot that last second three. So for Cuesta, they far from complete, but still starting to get that more confidence after this zone has been played. I'm not sure whose idea with it. Rusty didn't really want to play a whole lot of zone early in this tournament with these guys. Wanted to really force and see who could work through the frustration of maybe being a little out of game shape, but also at the same time being in a spot where we got to get some rebounds, because this isn't a high-flying rebounding team. But with the zone implemented, you put guys like Awunde and then Saunders on the opposite baselines, shots coming from the wing, you've got a defensive rebound advantage with their size and athleticism.
As we continue to see Rusty Blair being characteristically demonstrative in the huddle. 7:51 to go in a 10-point game. Cougars going to break the huddle and win their opening game of the year here in the 48th annual Rabbobank Tournament. Cougars will play Sequoias, ranked number 11 tomorrow. Cougars came into the game ranked 14th in Southern California. They were an 11 seed last year, losing in the first round to Fullerton, 76-68. And the Cougars will have it after the timeout. Also, the foul situation, you look at De La Serna with 4, but also Cougars with just 2 team fouls, Vikings 6.
Yeah, a little different than the first half. Getting into that 1-and-1 scenario is an easier way to catch up.
Way to chip away at a lead or build one with the shot clock, or actually the game clock off. Awandi open from 3 and makes it over Hill. Alex Awandi making it closer. 7 points for him and a 7-point difference.
Anytime that ball touches the painted area, a shooter of his size can step in and have a really unimpeded release. Nicely done.
Edwards lost, surrounded, trying to get rid of it. Got it out to Werner, but still plenty of time on the clock for the Vikings. Abdul Rasul, or sometimes just as Waz said, known as Mo, has a recovery. Gilroy with a block from behind on Edwards. Awandi, Uzal. Awandi straight away has a look. He'll take the 3. Edwards came too late. Alex Awandi exploding for 10 points in this half. It is a 4-point game with 6:51 to go.
Yeah, the ball getting kicked ahead, reversed, and beautiful unselfishness from your point guard that has done a fantastic job of getting into that painted area. Had that right eye peeking, and now the confidence of Alex to make 2 in a row. His bounce on defense has shown that his offensive allowance, his leash is a little longer, because, Coach, I can tell you, Rusty Blair does not want that guy taking dribble threes, but stepping in uncontestedly, those were beautiful net shots that have cut this lead to 2 possessions.
Cougars were down 13 at the half, and then again, Uzal starting to put some points together early in the half to get the 3 from Aguado. Little contributions here and there, and like I say, Saunders starting to get off a bit. Liam had a shot, but now it's Awandi with that athleticism is really starting to assert himself in this game.
Yeah, and I still feel a guy like Liam can come into this game and be a closer for it. Of course, we haven't seen Aguado with his shot-making prowess. I think Coach Rusty decided to go with his best athletes to start the second. Put them in a zone, put them in this crunch time to kind of have the attitude, the flavor, if you will, to be aggressive towards the ball, push it in transition, and create some open looks.
So it's gone from double figures to 4 pretty quickly. 44-40, Abdul Rasul to get it from Werner. Low in at the guard. Edwards playing inside. Again, this is not a big Viking team, especially with De La Serna out. 13, Low, who had a 3 before. This one will not quite go. Rebound, though, inside. Hill, shot won't go, and Saunders with the board.
Numbers.
Cougars pushing it up. Uzal around Werner, who was able to deflect it out of bounds. 25 to shoot, and the Cougars have it with 6:21 to go.
Yeah, fortunate there. Not his best decision, kind of going awkwardly to the corner of the glass. Really more of a rim protector coming in now for De La Serna. But I think for Cuesta right now, what is your best out-of-bounds play, and who do you want shooting this at this point? Because really an opportunity to sub for shooters in and create. They'll go with Alex again.
Awandi for 3. He's got 13. 1-point game, and yes, De La Serna's back in with the 4 fouls as they needed some size in the lineup with Hill coming out. 6:08 left. Abdul Rasul, low gamble from Awandi into the corner. Edwards open for a 3. It will not fall. Uzal is going to push it up. Lob to Townsend past everybody, but unable to control. And again, also we're seeing a little bit maybe more of a tightening of the rotation for the Vikings and maybe a little fatigue.
zones can get you stagnant on the offensive end, and as much as West Valley was cutting, backdooring, getting into the paint and kicking, this zone has really shortened those things up. West Valley has not made some open looks, and sometimes when that ball's not going in, they're trying to get their wings, at least their shooters, in these opportunities. He's not afraid to pull.
That's Abdul Rasul won't go. Airborne putback from Edwards will not go, and here's Uzel with it again, pushing the issue for the Cougars. Finger roll won't go. The follow, though, from Saunders won't go, and De La Serna's got it. 5:29 to go.
Really, both teams there surprisingly missed layups for really for Swade Edwards. It won't get an easier attempt after that offensive rebound all season. You can see him huffing and puffing here a little bit.
Inside, back out. Lowe left open, and he will make another three. That's 8 points for Ray Lowe. Coming up on the 5-minute mark. Back to a 2-possession game for the Vikings. Townsend going down to Owandi, who is definitely the hot hand right now. Uzel thinking about it to Gilroy. Uzel gets it back, has some space over De La Serna. The three won't go, pulled down by Edwards. Low. De La Serna looking for it. There we go. They've got a passing route to him there. But right back out. Abdul Rasul, three from the left is good. Quiet for a while, but now it's 17.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get out of the zone. It's gotten you back in the game, but now you're seeing the Cuesta guys tired just a bit. That ball side to side and a high post touch.
Back to 7. Fade away. Saunders won't go. Gilroy trying to get it inside. And it will go out of bounds. Aguado returns. And Uzel will get a break. Horn's going to come off the bench as well. And he will spell Saunders with 4:08 left.
We got it.
Cougars got it down to 1, but since then 6 unanswered by the Vikings. Abdul Rasul and Werner and Lowe. De La Serna back out, 10 to shoot. Lowe doesn't see an opening. They work it over to Edwards. 6, 5 to shoot. Lowe running out of time. Edwards, though, open for a moment at the 3 line. It won't go. Wandy's got the board. Wandy got a whistle, and that is team foul number 7. It's going to be the second foul on Swade Edwards. Cougars at the line. Clock stops with 3:30 exactly left in regulation. Alex Owandi last year, 16 games, no starts, averaged just a couple points and a board a game. At the line. First one will not fall. Edwards gets the board. Missed opportunity for the Cougars. Vikings, patient as they've been all game, especially with the lead here late. Abdul Rasul into De La Serna, attacking the hoop, and got another point-blank bucket to give him 12 points and a whistle with 3:04 to go.
Yeah, really when you flare the side of his zone, it forces those wings to overextend, and when the ball went to the short corner, it was an easy dive, and really a bad play to foul that layup. He had the advantage to it, but I credit Idle George and his staff to realize where they could exploit from that high post area on the dive.
Alex Owandi limping a little bit, committed the foul, his third and the Cougars' third. Again, Cougars, though, in the bonus, 3:04 to go, and there's 9 points as far as the difference is concerned, and a timeout full called by the Cougars.
Yeah, the pressure really starts to mount on your offensive possessions, and Cuesta really hasn't able to sustain or put together 3, 4, 5 great offensive possessions in a row. Their break has been the difference maker and more than doubling their first half out total. But really at this point, another stop is not one, but 3 or 4 is going to be needed from Cuesta's defense. And on the other side, who do you want shooting? Aguado has been a guy that has been on the bench. Can you run something for him to get him off some screens, some curls, an opportunity to knock in a 3, and then crashing the offensive glass as well? Cuesta's going to have to play nearly perfect offensive basketball the remaining portion, considering this free throw likely to go in a 10-point deficit in 3 minutes.
Wandy has contributed a lot of offense, but we saw him limping there right before the halftime. No idea if that's anything serious or not. But again, I agree with you that Aguado is just kind of waiting there, I think, as a potential source of offense. But you're right, also, defense has to be solid the rest of the way.
Well, sure. He's a catch-up factor because he can knock it in from really any distance into the front court. But back to playing a perfect offensive possession the remainder of the game. That doesn't mean making all your shots. That means getting to the free throw line, chipping away another 1 or 2 there. Of course, an offensive rebound in a second possession. It's got to start, though, with this next possession because they're down 9, potentially 10 is going to be huge.
Diego Serna waiting at the free throw line. Abdul Rasul, Lowe, Werner, and Edwards on the court for the Cougars. We have Horn, Aguado, Owandi is coming back out, so he's good enough. And, of course, Uzal and Townsend for the Cougars. 3:04 to go. And Davis Serna at the line with an opportunity to make it a double-digit lead again, and he does with his 13th point. Townsend, and they get it to Aguado. Aguado attacking on the baseline, drew the foul. And like you're saying, that can mean free throws, and that's exactly what has happened here. It's a foul on Ray Lowe, his first, the 8th team foul on the Vikings.
Well, inexplicable, really, for a Vikings defense after a made free throw not to get back. The ball advanced down the sideline. Knowing where Cuesta's best shooter is has to be priority 1.
Watto. Cougars unable to convert on free throws. Edwards gets the board, 2:52 to go. Watto coming out for high defense on Werner. Edwards low. De La Serna, ball lost, whistle. That's going to be on Karam Uzal, his first. Cougars 4th, so Cougars still have a couple fouls to give. Fresh shot clock, Abdul Rasul ready to inbound after the foul by Uzal. Looking for De La Serna and got it to him, just a little farther away from the hoop than usual. Sends it kind of wildly up, tipped by Horn, but sent right back to Edwards for an easy layup. 4 points. Excuse me, check that, 7 for Swade Edwards. Joey Liam at the scorer's table. Townsend sends over to Uzal. Uzal will attack, finds an open Aguado, but a whistle first. Hit to the head, Swade Edwards, 3rd foul, 9th Viking team foul. Joey Liam returns for Eric Horn. 2:12 to go. Karam Uzal with 11 points at the line with an opportunity to add some. And again, the free throw drought continues for Cuesta. Werner. Lowe trying to get around a double team.
Really a panic to the front court there. I'm not sure how many they have left, maybe a 20, but you bring the ball into the front court, sideline, middle, reverse. Advance it to the corner if it's not there, look your middle or your skip pass. Idle George and his staff were calling it correctly. The players didn't execute as far as crossing half court and not getting trapped before the timeout was called.
1:59 left, and also for mobility, but also to keep him out of foul trouble, they take De La Serna out and have O'Neal check in. 12-point game. Again, Cougars got it all the way down to 1 after trailing by 13 at the half. The scoring in this half, a little bit higher, obviously, for the Cougars. They have 25 points in this half, and for the Vikings, 24. But again, also surprisingly, again, you talked about the different rims. Cougars with a lot of chances at the line that did not fall.
And those are frustrating because your upperclassmen, if you will, your guards, your best shooters on the team, really you needed consecutive perfect offensive possessions, and you got to the line 2 different times, 3 different times, missing the front ends. So opportunities now, steals and threes are got to be part of the repertoire with 12 the difference. Unless West Valley is missing free throws and really turnovers, it's going to be tough for the Cougars at this point to make it a one-possession game.
Again, Cougars have a couple fouls to give, and next foul will be double bonus for Cuesta. As Wade Edwards near us. Set to inbound. And we mentioned O'Neal coming in for De La Serna during the timeout. Abdul Rasul in the backcourt, 15 to shoot. Six on the clock. Low. Abdul Rasul, 3, 2. He'll try and get the shot off, and will not. But they did eat the remaining time and leave the Cougars a minute 42.
Unfortunate no foul call there as he went to his left, kind of leaning that right elbow, right forearm into the defender. Wunde almost had a piece of more than the basketball.
Donovan Townsend to Liam. Awandi will take the 3 over. Werner won't go in position. And there he is again, Abdul Rasul with the rebound. Werner lost it after some contact. I believe this is going to be on Awandi, and that is the case. That's his 4th. 5th Cougar foul. To Werner, and Lowe brings it over midcourt, and the whistle. Cougars 1 foul away from the bonus. And if that is Awandi, and it is, he has fouled out of the game. He'll be replaced by Noah Saunders. Alex Awandi sits down with 13 points all in this half.
And more importantly, he put something on tape that coach is going to be able to positively critique. He brought fantastic energy, obviously the 3-point made shots, but did some very good things defensively. Active, low part of that zone. Difficult for West Valley to get clean shots against his side. I thought he had a great game.
New 30 after the foul. We're down to a minute 20 left. Townsend gambled, almost came up with it. 15 to shoot. Low to the corner. Abdul Rasul, I sense he may shoot it. No, he finds Edwards. Edwards for a long 2. Will not go. Saunders with the rebound. Under a minute to go. Aguado with a step and a finish. Andres Aguado with 8. Cougars within 10. Low in the front court. Abdul Rasul and Aguado registering the foul to send him to the line now on the Cougars' 7th team foul. Will be the first on Andres Aguado. First one good for Abdul Rasul. Game high score with 18. De La Serna with 13 for his team. Awandi with 13, and Uzal has 11. 41.1 to go. Both made back to 12. Uzal, as quickly as he can, gets points 12 and 13. Aguado again. sending Abdul Rasul to the line, 32.3 left. Mohamed Abdul Rasul has now hit 20 points with 32.3 to go.
Yeah, Scott Idle George before the game had really commented how much he was looking forward to having Mo back in the rotation this season after an injury last year. You could see how important his point guard leadership and energy will be to the remainder.
Saunders got the rebound. Uzal lost control. O'Neal's got it with 24 seconds to go. Foul on Uzal, his second. Both teams with 19 fouls and 24 seconds to go. So we see Michael O'Neal at the line, 3 points tonight. Saunders on the boards, though knocked out of bounds off Saunders. Shot clock off, and the Vikings have with 21.5 remaining. Nick Gatch is going to return, placing Joey Liam. Sent in, off the mark. Uzal to push it up with 20 seconds left. Contested actively by Werner, resulting in a whistle. Uzal to the line.
Passing and catching to teammates was one of Idle George's goal today. That baseline out of bounds was nowhere close, and then compounded with the foul. But for Cuesta, the free throw line has finally produced a point. And I'll be surprised some of the post-game comments from Rusty Blair and his desires of where this team can improve. I think first and foremost we saw a stretch and a five-some of energy that got them back in this game all the way to 1 point. But there was that breaking point of when West Valley finally knocked in that three against that 2-3 zone that just was enough to run away again and hide one more time.
West Valley had gotten into the bonus, or I should say sent the Cougars in the bonus on that last foul. Now the Cougars return the favor. It's the second foul on Gatch. And it will be Abdul Rasul Mohammed, or Mo, I should say, as he is known, to add to his game-high total now with 21. And to 22, Townsend. See what he can get at the end here. Into the corner, Aguado over Werner, a little bit low. Gatch there for the weak side airborne putback. He gets two before the buzzer. Another foul this time. It's Aguado, 5.4 to go. Abdul Rasul adding to his total at the end of the game. As you just saw him make 23 and point 24. Uzal, Townsend will take a late shot just at the buzzer, will not go, but there's a whistle and he will get 3 free throws after the fourth foul by Edwards. Townsend with a couple points prior to this, and they'll put 4/10 back on. So this will not technically end the game. First one's good. Cougars with a chance to make it go a little bit better cosmetically if Townsend can make all three, at least have it end up single digits. And Townsend makes all three. And that will do it. Final score, 62-53. Cougars lose the season opener, but also West Valley kind of a story here. They bounced back after a season where, as you talked about, lost a lot of players, 5-21, but again, you never know what's going to happen year to year, but a lot of times that can work in your favor. For Scott Idle George's team, this is a huge lift to start the year.
Yeah, it's been a while since they've won a basketball game, and they absolutely earned this one today. I thought from the outset, really better ball movement, better cutting. Cuesta was a little stagnant on their offensive front court, at least in the first half, and the Vikings took advantage of that. You also throw the factor in, yes, the early lead that they had, but how about the way they fought back and maintained a lead when Cuesta got within 1 point in the second half? So a lot of learning in these 40 minutes for the Vikings, an accomplishment. And I think for Cuesta, I think Rusty will tell you, this may be it's a starting point to the season, but there were bits and pieces of this game that hopefully for them is the low point of their year. And I thought both in how they passed and caught the ball in the front court was very, very underwhelming at times. And I think as they evolved their offensive continuity, they found a little base defense in that 2-3 that can provide some energy and bounce in order to push into the front court. So I think a lot still to be earned from Cuesta, and they're going to have two good more matchups here on Saturday and Sunday to kind of knock the taste out of their mouth of this one. Very frustrating.
Do you think that perhaps they were thrown off a bit, though, by the low tempo and the extreme patience of the Vikings?
That can be bought into, because anytime your shooters are missing shots, including some layups and free throws, it's kind of doubly frustrating to go down there and then have to defend for the full 30 seconds. We said it, not many times that coaches want turnovers, but I thought a number of the Vikings turnovers today actually played into their hands. They making Cuesta defend those full 30 seconds and then not have the opportunity of a live ball retort to kind of get it back down the court. So for Cuesta, far from what they will do offensively this year, but would like to see a little bit more offensive movement, especially for their shooters as they get into their game legs and game continuity for the year.
Now we're looking for something explosive to happen in the second half. We saw Alex Owandi and his athletic talent start to come to the fore, Aguado in various places. But who else do you see promise from the Cougars after tonight's game?
Well, Joey Liam is something that was, I think, underutilized, and really you mentioned his background in the Netherlands and playing on those teams. I think he's got a much bigger ceiling than what we saw tonight. And then, of course, Noah Saunders can kind of be that pogo stick, that rebounder and pusher in transition. For Cuesta, their best offensive repertoire, from what I can tell after one game, is not going to be plod and prod within the offensive front court. They're going to need some speed in transition, some creation of activity, some offensive rebounds, and I think a guy in Saunders and Liam can kind of play to that role to start this year.
All right, Mike Wozniak, is always great to start the season
Yeah.
With you courtside. I look forward to seeing you later.
A tradition. Thank you, Randy.
You bet. And also much thanks to John Arno and his staff in what is now known as the FTVE department here at Cuesta Film, Television, and Electronic Media. Completely student-produced broadcast tonight, doing another great job for us, and we thank them. Final score, the Cougars end up falling to West Valley 62-53 here in the 48th annual Rabbobank Tournament. For Mike Wozniak, I'm Randy Scofield. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for watching Cuesta TV.